I have to say something about this whole race thing. I have to get this out. I need a show of hands. How many of you have ever been to a restaurant that specialized in racial cuisine? You don't want to raise your hands to that one. That's a trick question. That's a trick. I'm at Answers in Genesis, guys. You guys should know better than that. Follow-up question. How many of you have ever been to a restaurant that specialized in ethnic cuisine? You see where I'm going with this? When Phil mentioned the word racial, that's what tipped this off. See, you have the way for us to be better apologists is to reject the terminology of the world. Biblically speaking, there is no such thing as race. There is not. There's no such thing as a black person and a white person. We're all different shades of the same color. The same color. When you look, I have a one-verse apologetic for you against the worldly idea of race. One verse, it's Acts 17:26. You're going to see it all over this campus. Acts 17:26, in the NASB it says, and he, that is God, made from one man, that one man being Adam, every nation on the face of the earth. That word nation in the Greek is not speaking about geographical boundaries. That word in the Greek is the word ethnos, from where we get the word ethnicity. So the biblical word is ethnicity. It is not race. Okay, so one way we can help defeat these ideologies that are coming against the church, that are coming against your schools, that are coming against places where you work, is to reject the vernacular of the world and reframe those terms, reframe those words in the context of what Scripture says. Scripture says the word is ethnicity. It is not race. So if it's not race, there can be no racism. What there is what is talked about in 1 John. There's either hate or love. I either hate you or I love you. There is no ism. There is no ism. I either hate you or love you. There's only two choices we have. Now think about this. This is the beauty of how the Bible deals with these issues. How else can you explain, outside of a biblical harmoniology, outside of a biblical doctrine of sin, how else can you explain if I, with a sort of darker shade of melanin, look upon a person who has a lighter shade of melanin with my eyes? Now, your melanin is not dynamic, it's static. It hasn't offended me, it hasn't cursed me, it hasn't called me an ethnic pejorative. Your melanin is static, it is immutable. You can't change it. It hasn't hurt me at all. But how do you explain that I see that with my eyes? And I develop what I've seen with my eyes in my mind as a hateful thought that generates a sinful motive in my heart. How else can you explain that outside of the gospel? There is no explanation outside of the gospel. It's sin in the human heart. That's the only explanation. And because the gospel is the only explanation, the gospel is the only solution. Sorry, Phil.
Oh, and you made the comment that